We're out here today, snowshoeing at Valles Caldera National Preserve, and this beautiful sunny day in the Jemez Mountains. We started in just ponderosa forest and then reached the aspen trees quite quickly. And we're somewhere between 8,500 feet and 9,000. It's pretty flat so far as we make our way through this giant volcanic caldera. And we'll be heading up South Mountain in a bit. We found some tracks through the snow. It's hard to tell what they are, maybe a coyote. We did see some coyote tracks on the trail, it looked like, going out into the deep snow. The caldera is a wildlife-filled place. It's a very unique and important habitat in this preserve for a lot of different species. The view looking back at the caldera. It's tiny track time for maybe a rat or a mouse, something dragging its tail. Here we go, starting to gain more elevation on South Mountain. As the ranger said, follow the blue diamond blazes. Today, at least for this whole first stretch, we have it all marked out from all the people that have come ahead of us. Well, cross-country skiers and snowshoers and animals. But when you're breaking your own trail, you want to be especially careful to check where you're going, have a GPS, or have All Trails or Gaia GPS or another app loaded on your phone. We've got a video about using those apps you can check out on our channel. Sometimes there's signs, especially in the Park Service, but a lot of times there's not, or they're few and far between. And especially if there's wind, or let's say a snowstorm comes through, it'll blow over your tracks. So even if you think, oh, I can definitely follow my tracks in the opposite direction, it's not always going to be possible. And plan for more time and more exertion than you would plan on the same hike without snow. Look, you guys, we just found fresh bobcat tracks in the trail. I'm pretty sure that's what they are, because there's no claw marks at all, and they're quite round. And bobcat tracks are actually rather small. They're about twice the size of a house cat, so their tracks are not too big. We've got some big ponderosas around here. The clouds are also coming in a bit. It's still a really pretty day. Looks like some other tracks over there, probably a squirrel going to that tree. Lots of tracks up here in the woods. More in the woods here. Got into the fir tree elevation with a lot of dead ones. But a good number of young ones growing in too. Whenever I'm hiking or snowshoeing, I think about the adaptations of the animals that live here and how their pads and their forends and their claws and their hooves allow them to stay above the snow in ways that we need metal and plastic and rubber and a lot of exertion. You can see a big witch's broom up in that fir tree. That's caused by a fungus that infects the tree and causes rapid growth, kind of like a tumor. Sometimes they're used by squirrels or owls for nests. Old man's beard growing on the fir trees, blowing in the breeze. If you don't remember, old man's beard is a kind of lichen. So it's fungus or multiple fungi with algae cells living inside of it in a symbiotic relationship where the fungus makes a home for the algae, soaks in water for it, and then the algae photosynthesizes and makes food for itself and for the fungus, because these kinds of fungi in the lichen don't decompose. They just live there for the most part. A little bit of decomposition. Two paths diverged in the woods, and we follow the blue blaze one. My friend Lindsay is nicely holding up the tree for me. How sweet of her to keep this ponderosa elevated so we can get through. So we find sometimes that the modern technology that humans have designed can fail us too. Times like these, I'm always like, why did I specifically ask for a hilly trail? And we've been finding the higher we get, the less people have been through here. So we didn't have to break trail, but the snow's not as packed down. Thankfully, Lindsay's packing it down ahead of me. We believe we've reached our end. Looks like the trail heads up that hill over there. There's supposed to be a flatter meadow near the top. And down we go. Well, update on gear malfunctioning. Looks like Lindsay's going to try switching to her crampons because the snowshoes just keep collecting huge, really thick, icy snowballs on the bottom. So this just goes to show you never know what your gear is going to do. You got to try it out, and sometimes it's not the best for the conditions you're in. When exploring in winter, it's interesting to think about what it would be like to have to live out here and survive in the wild, and what the consumers that do live out here do. So we've been seeing all kinds of rock outcroppings today, little natural little dens in the snow so animals can dig down in to be insulated. They have obviously their thick layers of fur, and a lot of animals have fur that actually help keep them dry, like bears and beavers. Not that there'd be beavers up here. And birds can fluff out their feathers. They also have a number of internal processes. So the way that their bodies function to keep them warm, I think their metabolism slows a whole lot. And back into the caldera we go. This is one of the largest calderas, or volcanic crater, basically, in the entire world. And it's actually relatively recent, geologically. We're nearing the end of our hike today, our snowshoe. We went 3 in, so it'll have been about 6 miles by the time we get back. And I call this a good snowshoe. It was pretty flat for the first part, although heading back doesn't feel that way. It feels uphill both ways, and I'm definitely tired. And as is the rule, we cannot end our video without scat. And fresh looking scat with urine at that. Delicious. Really nice day in Valles Caldera National Preserve. Thanks for joining. We'll see you on another quick trip.